evening. Welcome to the Minisink Valley Board of Education meeting for Thursday, October 10th, 2024. We do have a quorum. Will everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to ask the Board of Education for approval of the minutes of the last meeting. Be it resolved that the Board of Education, upon recommendation of the superintendent, approves the minutes of the regular meeting of the Board of Education of September 19th.
So moved. So moved, Bill Cooper.
Motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Being that there's none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. No one signed up for welcome to the visitors portion, so we move on to the superintendent's report with Mr. Monahan.
Thank you. First item on the agenda is the approval of participation from other districts regarding track and skeet shooting team. I have a motion here that allows for the Florida Union Free School District and the Goshen Central School District to participate with the Minisink Valley track and skeet shooting team. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Mr. Monaco.
Just that, I just think every year this thing continues to grow, and again, I'm glad that we were kind of the pioneers and leaders in this.
Correct.
And it is good to work with all the other districts.
I was over last night at Shawangunk. A bit chilly last night. I think it threw the kids off a little bit, but it was a very nice night watching the kids participate. Our coaches were doing a great job with the kids, so you're right, Mr. Monaco. It was great. I think, Mr. Witherow, we had, what, about 12 kids there last night, roughly?
Probably close to that.
Yeah, so it's just a very good night, and it's nice that we have two facilities to work with, the Monroe Chester Sportsman Club and Shawangunk Sportsman's Club as well.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
Thank you. Next, we have our audit committee discussion. Tonight, the board met to review the external audit from Nugent and Hauser, and we have Mrs. Julie Frano here, and I would ask her just to spend a minute recapping where the district is for this particular year for our 23-24 audit.
We're here to inform you that the district has completed their audit for the year. They have a clean opinion on both the financial statements and the compliance audit. They have met all of the regulations of NYSED. The full report has been presented in detail to the audit committee, and I believe they will vote on accepting the report. They believe that the 24-25 financial position is appropriately set to handle any adverse things that come their way. They believe that the budget is strong. The current reserves are appropriately established to set aside funds for expected costs in the future. The allowed fund balance meets the requirements of being no greater than 4% of the ensuing year's budget, and everything looks like they're in a good condition to move forward. On behalf of Regent Council, we'd like to thank you for the courtesies extended to our staff while we were going through the audit process. We appreciate it.
Ms. Rayner, just one last thing. I want to just touch on the one point you made about us being in a good position to weather any potential issues coming up. And it's important to note that this particular year, on December 1, Robert Megna from the Rockefeller Center is due to turn over a report to the governor's office regarding significant potential changes to the foundation aid formula, correct?
Yes,
And there is a potential for the district to be adversely affected by that, correct?
it is.
And there's a potential for many districts across New York State to be affected by this.
Yes.
And the indication from our politicians and from things you're hearing is that there is a very good chance we will not be looking at an on-time state budget, correct?
That's what we hear so far, yes.
Okay, just thought it's important to make sure that's mentioned, that those are things that we really need to be aware of as we move through the next budget cycle for the 25-26 school year, that we're not sure what the finances are going to be in the budget we're building, may not even have a good comprehension of what the state will be providing us in funding, correct?
That's correct.
but we've done a good job up until this point to prepare ourselves for that, correct?
Up to this point, yes, you have.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions, comments? No?
Okay, next, we have open houses. So we've already had our Otisville K2 open house, we've had our Otisville 3-5 open house, we have had several of our other open houses. It has gone very well. We've had a lot of participation at each of our open houses. We will also have the high school open house has been rescheduled, and I'll send that out in your board report so you have that, and we'll make sure it's available on our website for our community to see. I want to thank Mr. Howe in the difficult time that we faced as a district, in the loss of a student. We wanted to make sure that we took the time to provide an opportunity for our students to deal with the situation, our faculty and staff to deal with the situation, and for the opportunity for us to make sure that we reschedule that open house. And I want to thank each and every member of this community and the larger community of Orange County for their response to us in helping us through what was an incredibly difficult situation in the loss of one of our students. And I will tell you on an absolute personal note from all of us here, the outreach was unbelievable from this community to be here for our community. And it is our hope that, you know, throughout the years we will continue to repay what was done for us here in this district. I can tell you, everybody in the county reached out to us. County Exec Newhouse had said to me on a call at Sunday night that if there's anything we need, sure enough, 7 o'clock that morning, we reached out to the county executive that we needed some additional grief counselors. By 10 a.m., we had 3 additional grief counselors that came in from all over from the county, and then we also had a number of districts that contributed counselors to be here for our students. So I just want to say an absolute thank you to each and every person that was part of helping our students. And our faculty and staff was amazing. All of you here were absolutely amazing. And, you know, we are looking forward to having that open house for our families as well. So just a thank you to everybody for what they did for us and what they did for our families here in this community.
Thank you, Mr. Monahan. Anything else?
Yes, we are going to have pep rally and homecoming rescheduled as well. We are setting it for the November 1st football game against Warwick. That'll be information coming out on our calendar. If it's not already there, I know Mr. House is working on having that put out. We'll be looking at pep rally on October 30th for our students, with some additional days available for some fun days for the kids. So we're excited to have that rescheduled. Again, Mr. Howe has extended an invitation to the entire Board of Education to please come to our pep rally and be there. It is a wonderful night. I know many of you have attended over the last couple of years. I know we've worked to make sure that there's not a board meeting scheduled on that night in order to have the opportunity for the board to attend. The kids are really looking forward to it, and it's going to be a great night. We've got a lot of great sporting events taking place over that week. We've got a lot of teams, our soccer teams, our football team, you know, everyone's really well positioned for getting into the section playoffs. So Minisink is looking like they're having a very, very strong sports season up and down the line. Our cross-country teams have done exceptionally well as well. So, and for football, the culminating event that night is our football game. I will tell you, Warwick has a very tough team. I talked to Greg Sirico, who's their athletic director and football coach. He is absolutely looking forward to that game. It is always a great competition between the two teams, and we have 2 really good teams. Minisink has had a really great start to the football season, so we're looking at a really, really great game going forward. So, questions on homecoming?
No. And that's it for your report?
Yes, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Monahan. The next item on the agenda is the Human Resources portion with Mr. Giambi.
Thank you, Mr. Flaherty. We have a motion to approve the 2024-2025 extracurricular appointments as listed.
So moved, Scott Hines.
Second, Ruth Lewis.
Motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Being that there's none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
We have a termination. Be it resolved that pursuant to Rule 23, subsection 5 of the Orange County Rules for the Classified Service, the The Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, hereby terminates the employment of Dawn Bruce effective October 10th, 2024.
So moved, Bill Cooper.
Second, Patty Reynolds.
Motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Being that there's none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
We have a motion to approve the resignations, leave of absence, board position creations, amendment, and appointments as listed.
So moved, Scott Hines.
Second,
Motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Being that there's none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
Thanks, Mr. Flaherty.
Thank you very much, Mr. Giardina. Next,
Just jump in for a quick second.
certainly.
Just to let you know, they did post it today, a little while ago. High school open house will be on, Wednesday, October 23rd, 6 to 8:30, okay? Just so everybody has that date.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is Pupil Personnel Services with Mr. Fenton.
Thank you, Mr. Flaherty. Good evening. Please refer to the executive summary and board docs. The Committee on Preschool Special Education met on 6 days in September. 7 students were reviewed. I ask for a motion to approve the arrangements of the recommended placements by the Committee on Preschool Special Education as presented.
So moved.
second, Anthony Longo.
Motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Vanessa.
So moved, Vanessa.
Any discussion? Being that there's none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
The Committee on Special Education met on 12 days in September and 2 days in October. 61 students were reviewed. I ask for a motion to approve the arrangements of the recommended placements by the Committee on Special Education as presented.
So moved, Anthony Longo.
Second, Bill Cooper.
Motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Being that there's none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried. Thank you very much, Mr. Fenton. The next item on the agenda is the business portion with Mr. Withrow.
Thank you, Mr. Flaherty. First item we have is approval of warrants. Be it resolved that the Board of Education, upon recommendation of the superintendent, accepts the claims auditor's report for the following warrants as attached.
So moved, Ruth Lewis. Second, Patty Reynolds.
Motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Being that there's none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
Next item is acceptance of the budget transfer report. Be it resolved that the Board of Education, upon recommendation of the superintendent, acknowledges receipt of the budget transfer report for the month of September 2024.
So moved, Bill Cooper.
Second, Ruth Lewis.
Motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Being that there's none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
Next item we have is declaration of obsolete equipment. Be it resolved that the Board of Education, upon recommendation of the superintendent, declare obsolete for the purpose of disposing of the equipment to the highest responsible bidder and/or at the lowest cost to the district. The items as listed.
So moved, Ruth Lewis.
Second, Scott Hines.
Motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Being that there's none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
Next item we have an RFP award for food service consultant services. Be it resolved that the Board of Education, upon recommendation of the superintendent of schools, award the food service consultant services RFP for the 2024-2025 school year to HMB Consultants LLC as presented and attached.
So moved, Vanessa White. Second, Ruth Lewis.
Motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Will they be coming down for a menu meeting?
They were at the last.
They were, okay. They were at the one on
They just did a Zoom
Tuesday.
meeting at the menu committee meeting the other day.
They zoomed in?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
Next thing is approval of external audit report for the year ending June 30th, 2024. Be it resolved that the Board of Education, upon recommendation of the superintendent, accepts and files the 2023-2024 audited financial statements of the Nugent Household BC.
So moved, Ruth Lewis. Second, Patty Reynolds.
What's the second? I'm sorry.
Patty Reynolds.
Thank you.
Motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Being that there's none, all those in favor?
Aye.
opposed? Abstained? Motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Flaherty.
Thank you, Mr. Witherell. We'll move on to the report section. First item on the agenda is the board had mentioned they would like to do a biannual board dinner. So we would like to have a discussion about that at this time. Is the board still interested in doing that?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Do we have any tentative dates or anything?
We don't have anything, but we will send something out in the board report to get some dates for you and give you options of what you're looking for and what might work for everybody.
Is it possible that we could just order off the menu this time? I mean, we're responsible for our own meals anyway.
Absolutely.
I mean,
We can make it
if
work.
everyone else is in agreement with that.
I agree.
That's
All in favor?
No, we don't have to go through that. But yeah, that's a pretty good idea, actually. You know, that way you get exactly what you want.
Get what you want. Get what you get, don't get upset.
All right. We're all good with that?
Yep.
The next item on the agenda is Orange County School Board Association. I attended the Orange County School Board Association meeting in the beginning of the month. I was a little late for it because we had a committee meeting that night, so by the time the meeting was over here and I got to Goshen, I had missed the beginning of the meeting. However, Mary Alice Kovach, who's the director of Orange County ADAC, which is the Alcohol and Drug Awareness Council of Orange County, she was the speaker. And I've heard her speak many, many times in the past. And, she went into detail about the use of vaping, how it's increased, and she went into basically marijuana, you can use it anywhere you can use cigarettes, so it's become an increasing problem. But the other thing she really addressed was these edibles. And she had packaging for these edibles, and they were almost identical to candy. The packaging, she had candy packages and edible packages for THC, and it was alarming how much they looked alike. And so these things are going to be marketed to children. They really are, and that was her concern. And it was absolutely alarming that when the state passed this legislation, they didn't use a committee system or anything like that. They just pushed it through, and I don't think they fully understood the ramifications of legalizing it the way they did. So she said they've had increased problems with vaping and marijuana use in the schools, and she's always she said she would always come and speak to the students or anything that the school had, assemblies or anything like that, so she could spread the message. Even if it's open houses or plays or anything like that, where she could set up a booth in the hallway, she's willing to do it. So that's just food for thought there. To use her services more. Anybody have any questions or comments? Okay. The only other item I have about that, the Oxford, is at the convention. Oxford has two dinners, Sunday night and Monday night. And Mr. Monahan, do you want to elaborate on what you were thinking there?
So, and that's why I want to make sure I'm able to take some notes here. We have some options here for OXPA. We have the OXPA dinner Sunday night. We have no other events planned that particular night. So I would recommend attending the OXPA dinner on Sunday, October 20th, for those of us that are going to the conference. Is everybody in agreement with that that's attending the conference?
Yes.
All right, so that will be 7:15 p.m. and we'll be meeting with all of the other local districts from the Orange County School Boards Association. Monday, there's another OXPA dinner, but we've also been invited to attend a couple of other dinners from some other organizations. Our architects will be hosting a group for all of the members of their company, along with the Plumbo Group, Core BTS, and Train. We also have Day Automation, who has been doing a lot of our security work with us and security cameras, if anybody would like to attend those. Do we have a kind of a consensus on that?
That sounds good.
Okay, so just let me make some notes here, and we'll be good.
So we could probably go to both
Yes.
and then go back the second time.
Anybody have any questions or comments? No? Ready to move on?
Yes.
Next item on the agenda is a finance committee report, and, Ms. Lewis?
So the finance committee met and we discussed some of the things that had affected the budget for this year, which we learned about also was confirmed in our audit report this past year, 2024. And, how we have to watch our health insurance costs, our high cost claims, our stop loss when that kicks in. We also have to be very cautious when we develop our budget from January, because foundation aid changes are going to be implemented more than likely that will negatively impact the district's amount of state aid received. We also may have a lower surplus of funds, and we have to really focus on wants versus needs, and what is in the best interest of our students when we talk about wants versus needs. Really, that's just about all we covered, correct, Mr. Hines?
Yep.
Do you have anything to add?
Good summary.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis. Next item on the agenda is the, transportation committee report.
So, Mr. Cahill, I know you wanted to cover a bit about our opening from the transportation
Yep,
committee
so
and
we
how it
met-
went.
Yep, we met, transportation committee met, Bob, the head mechanic, Dwayne and Sean were there. They reported, well, there was, opening day went very well. The buses got in and out in a timely manner, the troopers helped with getting traffic flow. They didn't have too many hiccups, I think it was probably one of the most successful ones in the past few years. They got the drivers got out on their routes like the first week of August, which helped them, get feedback on how to, make the routes more efficient or have any, input into how they could change the routes, but getting that done in the first week helped them, maximize the, how the runs went. And I think it also helped when we had the influx of some new students come in, so it was good to get them out on their routes early. The cards went out to all the, families, on time. There weren't that many glitches with that. I think they, most people were happy with the times that they got on their cards, and that went smoothly.
The bus rodeo, I know you wanted to talk just briefly.
Yeah,
We're doing the bus rodeo again.
on October 19th, there's gonna be another bus rodeo and drive a bus, so if you know anybody that might wanna be interested in, becoming a bus driver, they can go out and try and drive a bus, and then, the drivers that we have are gonna have a little bus rodeo. I think he had mentioned that the last rodeo they had, they got 2 drivers and then 1 more potential.
And more potential, correct?
Yeah, so-
It was successful.
Yeah, and then when we get people coming in, Shauna was saying that even the people that come on as aides, once they get on the buses, they see, like, in 2 months, they say, well, I can handle this. And then we have the people that can train them for the test, take them out on their road tests, so, if you know anybody that, is interested, and one of the things that Dwayne said is, they're a lot more flexible now with hiring, whereas, previously to the bus having driver shortages, they said these are the schedules, this is all we can handle. But now they have drivers that will just drive in the morning, or do the morning runs, or drive in the afternoon. So they're a little more open to working with people because there is a shortage of drivers. There was a piece of equipment, I forget what it was called, but it was a snow thrower that they're getting in this,
Yes, that's coming,
November.
End of October, beginning of
Yeah.
November. It was being constructed. It is a snow throwing attachment that
Yeah.
will go on our front loader.
Right.
That can toss snow up to 90 feet, which will help us clear far faster than what we've been doing before.
Yeah.
Our plows can plow right up and get everything right there, and our snow thrower can just go right in and toss the snow and
Yeah.
move things far quicker.
Yeah, and Bob, the head mechanic, said it's gonna be a great tool for getting the driveway cleared and the buses out of there on time.
And I know, Mr. McLeod, you wanted to talk briefly about, the fact that our maintenance has been very good, but we have a couple buses, thank God, we have our new buses coming in, because some were coming off.
Yes, yeah. He said, you know, he emphasized the point that it's important that we pass the resolutions or get it in the budget that we get these new buses so we can be on a schedule, because the maintenance crew we have is great, but the weather that we have up here and the salt on the roads, it just does great damage to the bottom of these buses, and, you know, really have to get them on a replacement schedule. So it's very important that we keep that schedule going and get those new buses in. No real new news on the electric bus mandate. It seems like it's, you know, we're still, you know, it's still looming. Even though our district might not be, you know, amenable to what they want us to do, but hopefully they'll listen and maybe push it off, but there's no new news on that front.
We did, just so everyone is aware, we did have a survey that had to be filled out. So I know they're probably just processing, you know, 728 districts, they're processing all of that data right now. But I can tell you from our local districts, many of them contributed that we're, you know, most districts are not in a place to actually move forward with this, and that the energy requirements in the area is not going to be sufficient to have 17 different fleets in the county transition over to electric at the rate that they're looking for. So,
And it
so we'll see, it ongoing.
Yeah, it's ongoing, and it's like they put it out there before even getting suggestions or listening to the people that have their feet on the ground out here. That was basically it. I don't know, Ruth, you have anything? One thing I do want to say is that we're very fortunate to have the drivers, the aides, the staff, the support staff, on the transportation committee. I think it's overlooked that we have such a great team over there. You know, everybody's, you know, a lot of times people are quick to criticize and everything, but they're very dedicated, they're professional. Some of the contractual changes that have been made are helping out with attendance, and you know, it's not perfect, but I think that we're very fortunate to have the team that we have over in the transportation department. Ruth, anything else?
No, I agree, you covered everything.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the Athletics Committee report by Mr. Cooper.
Okay, we had our meeting, committee meeting with Mr. Bolt, and he went through our fall programs. And overall, we have, compared to last year, we have 422 students participating in our athletic program compared to 424 last year, so there's only 2 less this year. We have 13 sports for the ladies and 8 for the boys, and 9 different programs represented in those figures. Overall, we're doing very well in the fall. Our cross-country, soccer teams, girls volleyball, and football teams are all on a very successful run right now, and we'll knock on wood for that, and hopefully they'll finish strong. We also talked a little bit about some of the legal ramifications coming down the pike and changes being made, and until we get more clarification from the states on changes with things like Title IX, et cetera, the state has basically kind of backed off of that initial position that we heard about last year, allowing the district to formulate our own positions. Mr. Monaco, you have anything on this?
I think you covered most of it, Mr. Cooper. Yes, I would agree with everything you said.
Yeah.
I don't think there was really much more. It was great,
No.
and we're lucky to have Mr. Bolt.
Yeah, we're off to a really good start.
No other questions or comments?
I do have one question.
Sure.
Just clarify for me, Proposition 1, which is gonna be on the ballot in November,
Have that pulled up.
is that going to affect, well, because you said the state is backed off, but it's kind of fallen off the radar.
Mhm.
Is that what Proposition 1 is all about?
Proposition 1 encompasses several different things, and that is is potentially one of the items that could be affected, because Proposition 1 is about altering the Constitution and adding in reproductive rights and transgender rights as well, I believe, in the proposition.
Right. So we want to make sure that that doesn't fall off the radar.
Correct. Next item on the agenda is the Athletics Committee report. I'm sorry, the Building and Grounds Committee report with Mr. Monaco.
Okay, Mr. Flaherty, thank you. Myself, Mr. Cooper, Ms. Lewis were there, along with Mr. Tranchina, Mr. Witherow, Mr. Monahan, Nick Lopez, and Bill Wispire.
Correct.
We're all there. I think I got everybody right.
Correct.
It was a pretty long and lengthy meeting. We have lots going on. The hot topic that we started with was the wastewater treatment plant and where we're at with that. Actually, as we were having the meeting, they were starting to get that thing moving. There's been some minor modifications that need to be done. The seating of the plant is going to be taken next week, as we know that's what eats the stuff. They're going to start seating that plant, and that's their estimation was the contractor's saying like 3 to 4 weeks, but they're talking more like 6 weeks. So I just said, why don't we just safely say around Thanksgiving, we should be over to have that thing going. With that being said, I asked about decommission of the old plant, and they gave me a great response that we're going to, once we switch over and we're cleared by the DEC and all that to run that new plant, we're going to keep that old plant there as a backup system, just to make sure there's no kinks or any issues that we could convert back to that old plant if anything needs to be adjusted from there. So that was great. That was exciting. We did talk about the lengthy process, and the DEC gave us a run for our money, and submitting and resubmitting, and they were good about that. And we had talked about what we could do differently and what we could do better, and they gave us a lot of feedback. It was a group effort with everybody, but there was problems on all ends coming out of COVID, getting materials, stuff like that. They had said that we should have got the designs to the DEC a little sooner. And then there was some back and forth with some, contract stuff, but it all got worked out, and this thing's gonna be running, and it's exciting to do that as well. They also did offer us a credit for future work that they'll be designing for us, which was noble of them. So because that project's been going on for a bunch of years. Moving on, we talked about our next project, which will be the cardio room, weight room / storage room in the back of the high school. SED again, we're being a little bit delayed by the state getting everything approved and ready to go. So we're hoping to have bids going out probably beginning of November, and hopefully bids will be back in, and we can hopefully approve a contractor or contractors. There's going to be multiple primes on the job, by December sometime, which will give everybody the contractors time to get materials here ready. Hoping to break ground by early May. We're going to have to work around that a little bit and figure all those dates exactly out, because there's going to be some minor disruptions in the back of the gym, in the gym area there. So also they're hoping for substantial completion by around this Thanksgiving next year.
Correct.
We'll be able to start using that stuff there. Then and again, saddening, we thought we'd be doing the switchgear in the high school this year, but again, with over a year time to get the materials here, that's not going to happen. So same thing there. Bidding will be going out soon on that project, and we'll hopefully be awarding that. So everything will be here, and again, that's going to be the summer of '26. Will be a lot of planning with the district and the contractors, including our service providers, Orange and Rockland as well, because the school could potentially be without power for a long time, hopefully, and hopefully it's not too long.
4 to 6 weeks.
Yes, hopefully it's shorter than that. Contractors are thinking 3. We're talking 4 to 6. Hopefully there's no hiccups, but we definitely stress time is of the essence. all materials need to be here, and there's gonna be a lot of coordination, with all that, so that's good. And then lastly, we discussed future, our buildings conditions survey, and they went over a lot of things that us as a group collaboratively will be needing to discuss, once we are able to close out this, these other couple projects, of what will be happening next as far as, roofs, roadways, possible air conditioning, the list goes on, some plumbing stuff, electrical stuff, drainage work, potential upgrades to our facilities, outside and inside, potentially more projects on the outside as well, maybe.
Safety upgrades.
Safety upgrades, we talked about doors.
Yeah.
Mr. Tranchina gave me a list of stuff about, upfitting doors, for safety, security, and because, the keys will be easier, the systems will be easier, everything will be matched instead of this was built in 1950 and this was built in 1997, and everything will kind of go together. But again, shout out to our building and grounds. We know that they keep everything running here all the time. Actually, even on the way out the door, Mr. Tranchina was showing me and Mr. Cooper, I don't know if you were there, Mr. Lisdale, about how the doors and the fire inspection, and I didn't even know what he was talking about, but he explained it well, and he said how they have to seal off and all these things and all the work that these men and women do here on a daily basis to make sure this place is operating safely.
I think important to mention the 1957 wings being changed over and removal of those walls and brick walls being put in, those are all things that were part of the BCS of what.
Yes, and Mr. Tranchina was talking about the outer walls as well, getting rid of that ugly stuff on the outside there and putting some nicer looking stuff, and it'll be helpful for insulation as well.
Yes.
So that'll be helping us.
Similar to what you saw on the original portion of the 57 wing on the outside as well, the insulation.
Yes.
Moving from an R0 to like an R16.
Which will help, with all of that. I think I got it all, Ms. Lewis, Mr. Cooper.
The only thing I would add is the water tower,
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
And the water facility up in there, the building.
which, it's reaching its life expectancy, and, at some point in time, that may have to be replaced. They have to do another inspection of it to see how long it will last. And
Well, it's 30 years old, right? Was it 94?
94.
Yeah, it's 30 years old.
Anything else? Next item on the agenda is the board comment period.
Nope, menu committee.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. Menu committee with, Ms. White, sorry.
The menu committee met on Tuesday, October 8th. Patrick Witherow and Cheryl Ballou, the director of our food services, was present, along with James Bigley of HMB Consultants. Board members in attendance included Joe Flaherty and Kathleen DeRose, along with myself. Our meeting opened with a report from Mr. Bigley, who provided a summary of his first visit and inspection
now we will do board member and contact, comment period. Any board members want to discuss how, you would like to proceed with this? I know in the past we had spoken about like, we could just add it into the district events, or did you want a separate, board comment period? And, you know, I had spoken about how the attorneys said that we could probably just do it under district events, but, we also said we would have another discussion, so does anybody want to, add anything to the discussion? Ms. White?
Can we just change district events to district events / comment period? Like,
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
okay.
We can absolutely do that. Is that something that the board would want to do?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes? Understood? Okay.
We'll make sure that happens starting the next board meeting.
Okay. Thank you, that was,
Just a reminder on that fact, though, our attorneys did caution us that it is a comment period, not necessarily an open discussion period. So if like there's something happening and we want it brought to note so that we can maybe include it on a future agenda, that's the purpose of this, thing that we're adding in, just to remind us of that.
Thank you.
But I think it's an excellent addition to that.
And it might be good if we're reminded of that the next several weeks, you know, what this
We'll,
comment period.
we'll include it in the note for the,
Okay.
for the agenda, how's that? Would that be acceptable?
Yeah.
All right.
I have another question. Will we be having that comment period every meeting, or will it be?
We're
once a
going,
month?
we're going to leave it, as you just said, which is district events / comment period, and leave it there.
I got you. Okay.
There may not be a need for a comment period.
That's what I'm saying.
Which is
Right.
fine.
Okay.
So,
any other questions or comments? I'm going to ask the board and the audience to stand for a moment of silence for Jack Braun, who was a senior in our school district, and, you know, just a time to reflect in a moment of silence. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now we will move on to district events. Does anybody want to talk about any district events that they have attended?
I've been to several modified football games. The modified team is doing very well. I understand your teams are JV and varsity. I have fielded many queries from family, and I already brought this to your attention, that when we are home, we don't have a clock.
it is required to have an official run the clock, because that's
I
the official
understand
time. And unfortunately, and we're seeing this in many of our sports, the numbers of officials have dwindled significantly.
I do understand that. I do understand. There were 3 officials at the last game at home. So, I mean, if we could do something, when we've been away, they've always had the clock on.
I've mentioned to
So-
Mr. Bolt to see what we can do about getting an extra official, to see if that's a possibility. We are working on it.
Okay, well,
So,
just wanted to mention it,
Yep.
because I'm getting inquiries. But they're doing very well.
Mr. Monaco, you had a comment?
I was just gonna say, from an official, that on the football game, especially in the JV and modified, usually the official, because there's only 3, typically they keep them on.
It's on field.
It's on the field. And they, most of the time, I mean, I know some places they do, but yes, there has to be an official score.
Do they play on the varsity field?
Yes.
Yeah.
But if there's no one to be in the
There's no
tower
one playing there.
to run the
There's no
clock,
other game.
they usually keep it on there,
Yeah.
watching.
Right, I mean, somebody's keeping something,
Yes.
obviously, because you don't know how long the periods are if you're not keeping track of something.
Yes, and they keep it on and they yell to the coaches, I mean.
Right.
But like you said, as being official, and Mr. Monahan, you agree, unfortunately, there's a shortage of officials, and
And
they
that's
don't
what
have
I
courts.
expressed.
Yeah.
So,
And we get them from BOCES, correct? They schedule that?
It's all, yeah, that's all scheduled through the Orange County Athletic Office. I know, Mr. Monaco, you are a wrestling.
I'm a wrestling official, and we experienced, and actually 2 years ago, and then last year, they were asking officials from all sports to help the football team, you know, the football games, holding the chains, because we don't have enough, there's not enough
Yeah.
people.
Right.
So they were asking officials from anywhere, not to become a certified football official, but on Friday nights or Saturdays, if you want to be the chain gang,
Yeah.
you know, and they were doing that, and they reached out again this year. So yes, unfortunately,
We'll
it's
share
a,
that information.
Yeah.
yes, it's a difficult situation, to get all these people to do all this stuff, especially when everybody has games on the same day.
And I know in your particular sport in wrestling, if I remember correctly, the head official was telling us that normally we have 45, 50 officials, and we're down to what, about 26?
We're 20-something, and, you know, I got an email, which I'll talk to you about at a later date, about the other thing we were talking about,
Yep.
with wrestling and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
that's not really for this, but yes, numbers are a problem.
But that is something that could generate even fewer officials.
Well, that's the other problem.
I think most sports, unfortunately, right now are experiencing that. I can tell you in swimming and diving, the same thing is happening, where they've actually run a couple of meets where you've only had 2 officials at the meet. You're really required to have 3 to do that. So
Yes.
it's been tough. It's been tough this last few years.
No different than, again, in
But
wrestling.
just for
where-
your reference, Lewis, I did mention it already, Mr. Bolton. So,
I'm sure you did.
Anything else?
I attended the Wallkill football game with Mr. Monaco and Mr. Monahan, and was quite one-sided. Our boys were playing quite well that night, and you know, except for and you know, we lost to Newburgh, but you know, that's a game that could have gone either way. And if we played them 5 times, I would state that we would win 3 of the 5. They're playing very well. We have not a ton of kids on the team, but the kids we have are talented. And you know, and I happened to see another modified volleyball game, and our girls, you know, like it seems like our girls volleyball, it used to be on that championship level, and they're getting back there. They're getting back there. It used to be, you know, they'd be fighting for that Section 9 championship every year, and we're knocking on those doors again.
if you take an opportunity to hit some of the modified VAB games, you're going to see some really quality kids that are in this program and moving up.
And we can see by the numbers.
Yeah,
Mr.
the numbers
Bolton
are big.
presented us the other night.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I attended a football game, or 2 football games since the last time we've been together. And the band was great. They had a great marching band, and the chorus sang the national anthem, and the boys were playing well, I think.
Band was
Sorry, I have
definitely
eyes on
doing
the
well.
band, but, no, it was a nice night. The very first one was a really nice night.
I attended a few events, I'll briefly, with Mr. Cooper at the Wallkill game, and yes, Ms. White was there as well. Our boys did amazing, and I also, last Friday night, I went to Goshen, my alma mater, so it was a little, you know, obviously I was on the green side, and the boys came out and they did an amazing job, and they won pretty easily, which is great. I know they're playing again tonight. We also, Mr. Monahan, myself, my wife, and a community member attended the football golf outing, which was well attended. Alumni, a lot of support. It's great to be a part of that. Great to be a supporter of all that stuff. We also attended. I attended an outing on Monday for the police chiefs, but for Orange County Police Chiefs, but it was absolutely, and Mr. Cooper was there as well, Mr. Monahan and myself. The great reaction from law enforcement to this district, basically saying, again, we're the leaders, everybody follows what we do here, because we do it well, and how lucky we are to have Mr. Monahan, you know, as the chief here, and making sure things are good and things are safe, and it was, and from different law enforcement agencies, not just the state police or the sheriffs, they were all saying, you know, Minisink does it right, Minisink does it right. I've heard it from people that I know personally, and that was really great, that was really great to hear. And it was exciting to hear. I know it, but now I heard it. So, it was definitely exciting. I did catch, some tennis here the other night, and a little bit of the soccer game as well. So this place was buzzing the other night. This place, it was like, you would have thought, I don't know, they were giving free stuff away here. It was exciting to see all the action here.
I'd just like to add another note on Monday, the Otisville, PTO sponsored a golf outing, and, they had a very, very successful, financial recoup that they were looking for.
I heard that too.
Yep.
Any other members? I'm going to ask the board, no, Mr. Monahan, I have a business report.
No more business before the board.
I'm gonna ask the board to enter, into executive session to discuss the employment histories of particular persons, and matters made exempt under federal law FERPA, and a matter of negotiations with the CSEA, and the board may take action after executive session. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second, Vanessa White.
Motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing that there's none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?